Not all heroes wear capes, and not all actors survive the fandom. Some become icons, worshipped for their roles. Others crash into ridicule, drowning in memes. Here's the wild showdown of the most loved and most hated. The world of superhero movies is a high-stakes arena where actors transform into larger-than-life icons. They step into the capes, armor, claws, and masks of characters already adored by millions, with results that can be breathtakingly brilliant or notoriously bad. One performance can inspire a generation, while another can spark a storm of fan outrage. Here, Hollywood collides with the most passionate fan bases on Earth, where theaters roar with cheers and timelines explode with boos. Some actors leave as legends. Others are forever branded as miscast disasters.
Horrendous. They're hot, for one thing. They don't breathe. They're made to look the way they want them.
The first name on the most hated list still sparks online fights: Ben Affleck as Batman. When the news first broke that Affleck would wear the cape and cowl, fans nearly rioted online. Memes, angry blogs, furious YouTube rants, you name it. The backlash was brutal. People couldn't reconcile the guy from Daredevil and romantic comedies with Gotham's tortured protector. And when Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice finally hit theaters, the reaction was split like a cracked batarang. Some praised his rugged, battle-worn version of Bruce Wayne, but countless others found him stiff, joyless, and weighed down by clunky writing. Affleck's Batman was brooding without the charm, brutal without the spark of myth, and for many, it just didn't click. Even years later, his performance lives in fandom purgatory, half defended, half despised, never truly embraced.
Although hearing that laugh every day must do something to a person.
From brooding bats to a neon nightmare, Jared Leto's Joker stands as one of the most infamous superhero casting flops of all time. When Leto first revealed his tattooed, grill-wearing, gangster-inspired Joker in Suicide Squad, the internet recoiled. Gone was the sinister madness of Heath Ledger or the theatrical brilliance of Jack Nicholson. In its place came a flashy caricature that felt forced and hollow. Fans slammed his legendary laugh, bizarre mannerisms, an edgy, damaged aesthetic that seemed like it belonged in a parody, not a blockbuster. Even Leto's overhyped method acting stories, involving rats and strange gifts to co-stars, only fueled the mockery. Instead of terrifying, his Joker felt cartoonish and awkward, and the performance became a punchline across superhero fandoms.
Mary Jane get kidnapped right in front of him and is told, unless Spider-Man shows up, Mary Jane's gonna die. Peter knew the whole time Doc Ock was still out there and just never did anything about it.
Not every hated actor comes from poor casting. Sometimes it's about a performance that aged poorly. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is a perfect example. When Spider-Man launched in 2002, Maguire swung into history as the first big-screen Peter Parker, and for many, he'll always be their Spidey. But nostalgia aside, criticisms grew louder as time passed. His stiff delivery, perpetually wide-eyed expressions, and awkward crying faces became meme material for years. Audiences mocked scenes like his infamous dance sequence in Spider-Man 3, turning him from a hero into internet comedy gold. While he still has a devoted fan base that defends his every move, plenty of younger fans find his version cheesy, wooden, and out of step with today's slicker superhero performances. In hindsight, Maguire's portrayal feels like a time capsule, earnest, sincere, but undeniably dated in an era where comic book heroes are expected to balance charm, wit, and emotional complexity.
Halle Berry could have been in Deadpool and Wolverine. Her portrayal of Storm is iconic.
Then comes the disappointment of Halle Berry's Storm in the X-Men series. Storm is one of the most powerful and respected characters in comic book lore, a literal goddess with command over the elements. Fans expected her to dominate the screen, but instead, Barry's performance felt muted, rushed, and flat. She had the presence, the look, even the gravitas in theory, but the execution just didn't work. Whether it was poor writing, lack of focus on her character, or Barry's own restrained delivery, audiences walked away feeling robbed of the storm they deserved. Her infamous line delivery, "Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?" became symbolic of wasted potential. To this day, many fans still grumble about how underwhelming her storm turned out to be. What stings more is that Barry is an Academy Award-winning actress, proving she had the talent to elevate the role, yet the films never gave her the chance.
He also starred in the thriller Disturbia and the animated Penguin comedy.
Another name that stirs controversy is Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, aka Venom, in Spider-Man 3. Venom is supposed to be one of Spider-Man's most terrifying hulking enemies, a dark reflection of the web-slinger dripping with menace. Instead, fans got Grace skinny, smirking, and utterly miscast. Eddie Brock felt more like a bratty college kid than a rival to Peter Parker, and his Venom lacked the physical intimidation or terrifying presence the role demanded. For fans who had waited years to see Venom brought to life, it was a crushing letdown. Even Grace himself later admitted he wasn't the right fit, and the backlash was so strong that it haunted Sony until Tom Hardy eventually revived the character years later. Grace's casting remains a textbook example of how one wrong choice can sour an entire storyline and leave fans frustrated for decades.
Just move past it, and at this point, he did his part. Whether you like The Amazing Spider-Man or hate it, appreciate what he did.
Finally, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man lands on the hated list, though with a huge asterisk. Garfield himself was charming, witty, and athletic in the role, but the movies around him stumbled badly. Many fans complained that his Peter Parker was too cool and didn't capture the awkward, nerdy energy that defines the character. His films also suffered from messy scripts, uneven tones, and a forced romance that failed to fully resonate. The result was a Spider-Man that divided fans. Some adored Garfield's style, while others hated him outright. In the brutal world of superhero fandom, division often tips into hate, and Garfield's Spidey carried that weight until his triumphant redemption in Spider-Man: No Way Home. But now it's time to flip the coin and celebrate the legends. The actors who didn't just wear the costume but became the character so perfectly that fans can't imagine anyone else in the role. Leading the charge is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, the performance that rewrote the superhero genre. When Marvel cast Downey, it was a gamble. His career was in tatters after personal struggles. But from the moment he said, "I am Iron Man," he wasn't just Tony Stark, he was Iron Man. His sharp wit, charm, arrogance, and hidden vulnerability turned an unknown comic character into the beating heart of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For over a decade, Downey carried the franchise with effortless charisma, and by the time he bowed out in Avengers Endgame, fans wept worldwide. His legacy is untouchable. Right beside him in the hall of superhero greatness is Chris Evans as Captain America. Evans embodied Steve Rogers so perfectly that it felt like he was born for the role. He brought the sincerity, integrity, and quiet strength that made Captain America not just a soldier, but a symbol of hope. Unlike other heroes who rely on flashy powers or witty banter, Evans's Cap was about moral clarity and resilience. His emotional journey from the skinny kid who wanted to serve his country to the leader who stood against gods and armies resonated deeply. Fans adored his performance, and his simple line, "I can do this all day," which became a mantra of perseverance across the globe.
In the Are you okay?
Oh, yes. Classic John Byrne Brown and tan. Now, you fought the Hulk in this outfit.
Another powerhouse of beloved performances is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. For nearly 20 years, Jackman slashed through the X-Men franchise with claws of adamantium and a heart full of pain. He nailed the grizzled loner persona, balancing savage fury with surprising tenderness. His portrayal became so iconic that even comic fans began picturing Jackman when they thought of Wolverine. From the early X-Men films to his heartbreaking farewell in Logan, Jackman's dedication never wavered, and his performance set a standard few actors can ever hope to match. Fans often say he didn't just play Wolverine, he was Wolverine.
Oh, there it goes.
You okay?
Oh, it's my back.
Then came Tom Holland, swinging into the MCU as a youthful, earnest Spider-Man. Holland's take immediately clicked with audiences because he captured the awkward teenage energy that defines Peter Parker better than anyone before him. His enthusiasm, vulnerability, and humor made him relatable, while his interactions with Tony Stark gave his journey extra emotional weight. Unlike Maguire's stiffness or Garfield's aloof vibe, Holland felt real, a kid suddenly thrown into a world of gods and monsters. Fans fell in love with his portrayal, and his success ensured Spider-Man's place at the very core of the MCU.
What did you say?
So exciting.
Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is another performance that broke barriers and won hearts. When she first appeared in Batman vs. Superman, many doubted her casting, but by the time Wonder Woman was released, she silenced critics completely. Gadot brought grace, strength, and compassion to Diana Prince, balancing her mythic power with relatable humanity. Her commanding presence on screen turned Wonder Woman into a global icon, inspiring young girls and proving that female-led superhero films could be blockbuster smashes. Her performance wasn't just loved, it was celebrated as a cultural milestone. And finally, no discussion of most loved superhero actors is complete without Christopher Reeve as Superman. Over the years, his portrayal remains the gold standard. Reeve captured both the humble, bumbling Clark Kent and the awe-inspiring Man of Steel with flawless balance. His Superman radiated hope, kindness, and the very essence of what the character stands for. Fans across generations still look to him as the definitive Superman, a beacon of what superhero acting can be when done with heart and conviction. Even today, no actor has completely escaped his shadow. There it is, a battlefield of legends and misfires, heroes and disappointments, actors who soared and actors who stumbled. Superhero movies carry impossible expectations because fans don't just want entertainment. They want their icons brought to life with authenticity and passion. When actors like Downey, Evans, and Reeve nail it, they become immortal. When others miss the mark, like Leto and Grace, the backlash is merciless. That's the double-edged sword of superhero stardom. The stakes are higher than in any other genre. Despite this, the clash between the most loved and most hated actors reveals one truth. Superheroes may be fictional, but the emotions they inspire in fans are as real as it gets. They aren't just movies, they're a battlefield where actors become legends or end up roasted forever. One wrong casting choice and the internet erupts. One great performance and an actor is worshipped like a real-life hero. Fans fight, memes explode, and whole careers are defined by a single cape or mask. Some actors became icons who'll never be forgotten, while others got dragged so hard that their names still spark arguments years later. This is where love and hate collide in the loudest, wildest way. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let's know what you think about these actors in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the next update.